This week we have a treat, and it's in time for Thanksgiving. It's not Thanksgiving related. Stop it. But it is a wonderful thing that has come out.
Yes.
And we said it many times in the episode, that is to follow. Watch it.
Yeah.
And the weekend is coming. 4-day weekend, folks. No reason not to watch this film.
Check it out. It's it's a horror, as you know, we cover a lot of horror movies, but
right.
It's not super scary. So if you're not into super scary horror, this could be the one for you.
Right. It's got its creepy moments.
It's creepy, yeah.
A couple little, but yeah, it's not Jason and Michael on vacation.
Right.
Tearing it up. So yeah, it's a great little flick. We loved watching it, and we loved talking about it, and I think you're going to like hearing us talk about it, and you've got to see it.
Yeah. And there's a lot of lessons, and especially, the main one for me was, like color feel, tone.
Yes. Yeah. Something we've talked about a little bit in past episodes, the feel of a film. We've talked about maybe an occasional scene here and there, but yeah, this whole feel.
It's got a vibe.
It does.
Yeah.
And if you want to know what we're talking about, listen.
And then watch it.
All right. Should we dive into this bad boy?
I would very much like to, yes.
All right. Let's go.
All right. Hey there, B-Siders. Welcome to another episode of Bravo for the B-Side. This is Danny.
And this is Jim.
And today we have something kind of cool. It is a screener that we got the privilege to watch.
Yes.
You probably know better than I do when this is going to come out.
Well, as of recording today, it's already come out.
Oh.
The release date for DVD and VOD was November 3rd.
Oh.
Yeah. But, that's fine, because talked to someone involved with this and said, still be happy to do it, because never too late to bring things to people's attention.
For sure.
Yeah. So this is already out, and by the time you listen to this, folks, it will have been out for a little while. But
cool.
Still got to look for it. Go get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm excited about it. It was a lot of fun. There are some good lessons that can come out of it.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just excited in general, because this will have come out a couple weeks after the election.
Yes.
But
yes.
we're all finally in this space where we're like, whew.
Yeah. We don't,
There's a light at the end of the tunnel.
There is. And we don't usually do politics, because that's not what this show is about. But being human beings and communicating with other human beings, thank fucking God.
Right? All right.
And you could feel that on Saturday, almost like, it was like Star Wars, Ben Kenobi. What's the matter? It's almost like millions of lives screamed out. Only this wasn't tragic. This was millions of lives went, finally.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So
that's all we need to say.
It is. So back to this movie. I really, really enjoy these kinds of movies. It's a little bit of an homage, I think, to the 80s movies.
It is. And in talking with the person involved with this, part of their marketing thing is, can't help but be compared to like Stranger Things. And I don't think that's fair. This actually I thought was better than Stranger Things. Stranger Things should have been a movie, because the first season, was pretty interesting. I really didn't care for it after that. It's like they had no compass. And that's kind of that thing. You have this really good idea, but sometimes 90 minutes is the best way to bake that idea and not, 13 episodes over however many seasons you can squeeze it. Cause it's like, it gets old,
Well,
you know?
yeah. I mean, I do think when you are a storyteller and you're thinking about how to tell a particular story, keeping in mind what is the best form to tell your story. Because, if you're a writer for film, you might want to tell everything in the medium of film,
Right.
but not every story is made for film.
No, there are, there's a lot of series that came off of films.
Yeah.
Because it was like, oh man, that was like neatly wrapped and stuff, but holy shit, you could just keep going with it.
Well, yeah. And then kind of the same thing if you are, are a TV writer. Oh, I have this really good idea. We could make a series out of it. You should think to yourself, would it be better in a different format?
Right. Well, that's why we did what we did.
Yeah.
So, the big thing is write a pilot. And then in like your pitch and stuff, you are supposed to have, explain how the seasons are going to go. What's going on in the first season, second season. So when we did our pilot, we're like, whoa, you know what though? Because we want jobs writing this. We don't just want to like hand it off because someone will inevitably kill it. I would very much like to write at least half of the first season. And we did. So we wrote 6 episodes and to see that we could do it and to see how the story fleshed and everything. And it went exactly as we thought it would. It's, intrigue, threads, little hints, reaching back. By the 5th episode, we're already reaching back to episode, the pilot and episode 2, things that were, eggs that were laid in the nest there are hatching.
Right.
And it worked out really good. They don't ever talk about that.
Well, yeah. And then kind of on the flip side, we wrote a feature that was, we wrote it so that our daughter could, work on it with us and read it with us and stuff. Specifically for that purpose. So it was just a fun little thing. We didn't feel a whole lot of pressure.
It's a young adult film.
Writing it. And when we started pitching it, pretty much everyone that we pitched it to was like, I don't know why you have this as a feature. It should be a series.
Right. And it could be.
Oh yeah, easily. And that had never really occurred to us.
It had not, but after that was mentioned, we thought about it. And for those of you who love retro TV or are just simply old enough like me to remember, like Doogie Howser, right? Now this isn't a medical thing, and it would, that was a little more drama, but it could have a very Doogie Howser kind of thing where just, it's like, you end with journaling somehow at the end of, each episode. Those are the lessons and from the point of view and stuff. And only geared for young adults, because that's what it was all for. I know a lot of times, and this is like all over the place, and like even Stage 32 in the forums, people actively discourage people from writing other episodes.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, the studio's only going to buy the pilot. They're not going to buy like a whole season. If you write 13 episodes.
So don't waste your time.
Don't waste your time. You're selling the pilot, but if you want to be involved with your work, I highly recommend you do it. Don't say, hey, I've got a whole season written, because the truth, they aren't going to care. That's the truth. But when you get into the talks and like, well, how do we know? You can say, well, there's the pilot. Here's 12 more episodes that I wrote. Why don't you see how they string through? And with your Bible and, your outlines and all that stuff, that's how you sell it. To me, that's part of our pitch deck is, yeah, we can do it. And we have a clear vision. Usually we only pitch up to season 4.
Right.
A little bit on 5 sometimes, but, we've got like 10 full seasons on. That's if we have to end it at 10. If they're like,
We've done a lot of world building.
Yes, we have. So anyway,
tell us about this movie. Back to this movie.
This movie is called They Reach. Obviously, 2020 is the year. The director is Sylas Dall, written by Sylas Dall and Bry Troyer. It's starring Mary Madeline Rowe, Morgan Chandler, Eden Campbell, Elizabeth Rhodes, Ash Calder, and Frederick Floyd. Because it's not MPAA release, it's no rating. Budget is as of yet unknown. Kind of hinted at, low budget, and that's fine. That's something I'm going to talk about after we get through this.
Yeah.
So here's the plot. In 1979, a young girl stumbles upon a possessed tape player. She unknowingly unleashes a demonic entity that haunts her family while slowly dragging the small town of Clarkston to hell. That's pretty potent. and accurate. I mean, we've had a few recently that were like, I don't know how accurate that is. This is pretty spot on. So again, this was released to the public on DVD and VOD November 3rd. And interesting note, this is Sylas's first feature film. Okay, so he did a short film on this. And like so many others in indie, they pop out a short film because they had this idea and then eventually think, I could grow this
right
into a feature and try to get some money for it. Let's think Fried Berry, a very different movie
yes.
than this. But same thing. Fried Berry was a short.
Yeah.
And then he decided to make a feature film out of it. Ryan Kruger did. So Sylas did the same thing. And it's pretty good.
Yeah, we enjoyed it.
We did. And let's get into this because I want to talk about it once we're done talking about it.
Okay.
Take us away.
So we start on the road. There's two guys in a car. One is older, one is younger. The music is nice. And it doesn't look low budget visually.
No, straight off.
And it's a period piece too.
Yes.
Which is really hard to do on a low budget.
Yes.
I mean, this isn't like an 1800s, it's not a Victorian period piece, but it's a 70s period piece.
Right.
Which is not easy.
Right.
To do like consistently throughout the whole thing. So the two guys in the car are talking about batteries for some of their equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And so the younger guy turns around and he's digging around in the back seat and he's looking for the batteries and he opens up a book. And they have a little chat between them. And this book is the Sanguinium Demonium. And there are like symbols scrawled over the pages. And he gets a little, what's the word? He gets a little like, what?
What is this? A little creeped.
Yeah.
Unsettled.
So he asks the driver, who is his dad, if they're doing something dangerous. And then we get a little super. It's 1969. So they make it to this little farmhouse, and a woman comes out and addresses the dad as Dr. Quinley.
Mm-hmm.
So they go inside, and she's showing him some drawings that look like a child drew them. And they're creepy, Yeah.
Not your standard kids' drawings.
Right. So she mentions that she called the priest as well, and the son is upset, Dr. Quinley's son.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, why would you call him? We're doing a scientific study.
Right.
He has no business here. So they go downstairs because that's where the child is. And he's just sitting at the table with his head down.
Well, in the basements.
Right.
Yeah. At a table in the basement.
Yeah.
Creepy.
And he's a creepy little kid.
Well, yeah.
So they start setting up their recording equipment. There's like a tape recorder. And he's got a little video recorder as well.
He's got an 8mm camera.
Yeah. And Dr. Quinley starts talking to the kid. And the kid is nonverbal.
Right.
but he gestures at his chest, and then we see that there's a marking carved there. And it's the same symbol that was in the book.
Right.
And as he's gesturing at his chest, that same figure gets burned into the stone in the basement.
Yeah.
It's weird.
There's a little rumbling and...
Yeah. And then we kind of cut away and we get a little super 10 years later. So there's a young girl in the back of a car and everyone's kind of dressed in black. And so it seems like they're on their way back from a funeral. And the mom in front is holding a photo of a boy. So they get home and it's her brother. We established that.
Right.
And she's upset. She doesn't want to be home, so she leaves on a bike. And this does feel very, the 80s kids movie kind of thing.
Yeah.
So the quality and lighting is really good. And it's also very, very much like that era of filmmaking was. It's soft.
Yeah. I mean, it's clean.
Yeah.
And it's crisp. But the visuals lend a softness.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing super stark.
Right.
Right? It's just like her riding the bike. We don't get the sense that this could be like a 4K video game VR experience. You look at it and from beginning up to this point, it really did remind me of studio quality movies from 79
mm-hmm.
that they're wonderful to look at, but it had that film feel to it.
Yeah, it was nice. And the framing is also really nice. So she ends up riding her bike to an antique store and goes inside. And she's just kind of digging around. And I know you had some thoughts about this antique store.
In my notes, I just real quick, whether they chose this place or they found a location and stocked it full of stuff, either way, and being low budget, they might have been one or the other or both mix. But if it was just finding a place, they found like the perfect place, because this looked like every antique old stuff store that I've seen across the country in little towns.
Yeah.
And this is what I liked about it. It wasn't done up. It wasn't overly done, right? They didn't overplay. Because, you go in some of them, you have somebody who's super eccentric and they have just like ridiculously weird stuff in there. And it's like a hoarder place where you physically can't move around.
Well, like the guy in the Gremlins movie.
Yes.
Like that shop.
Yeah. I don't know. I was just right away. I was like, oh man, yeah.
I want to go in there.
Well, yeah. Well, we used to go to places like that until
before a pandemic happened.
Yeah.
So, she starts looking through records and she pulls one out and goes to the counter and no one seems to be there. So she calls out a few times. No one comes up. So she wanders over to the back of the store and a clock starts chiming.
Mm-hmm.
And just as she's kind of about to give up, the owner startles her from behind and she starts trying to haggle with him about this record. And she's not happy with the price he names.
Yep.
So she kind of sets it down. She turns around and grabs a box of stuff that she says is literally labeled trash.
Yes.
And tries to haggle with him about it. And then he recognizes her as the Daniels girl.
Right.
And shows pity. Says something about her brother.
Mm-hmm.
And he lets her take the box for free.
Yeah. So on her way home, and this was, again, so 70s. She passes by some boys standing by their car, and they start catcalling her. She tells them to shove off, but it's not a hopped up sports car, but it is like the teenage, this is what I could afford for a muscle car kind of thing. Because a lot of stuff in the mid to late 70s looked mean, street mean. And they really weren't great cars. I mean, it's not anything you would take to a racetrack. It's like if you had a Mustang GT Fastback, then you might go, yeah, I'll race
Yeah.
you. But Dodge, all these car companies had something that looked oomphy, and they
Right.
they did from the mid to late 70s. So teenagers would get their hands on like a 76, 77 something or other, and it just kind of looks cool. And them just sitting, and this is another thing you don't see a lot of these days, is there, one sitting on the hood, one's leaning up against it. And my first thought was, oh yeah, I haven't seen that in a long time, because if you were to do that today, you'd crush your hood,
Right.
because everything's made of cellophane. Anyway, so she makes it home, and mom is looking at food spread out on the table. So we all know what that is. That's
The funeral offerings.
yeah. Everyone brings something, and
Hmm.
to help out. A picture of Steven is there. It's the same one that was in the car. It's his high school football picture. Uh, and at the beginning, because it wasn't anything verbal. So, they showed uh, the girl who's Jessica in the back seat, and then you see the picture. I thought, oh, is it a boyfriend kind of thing? I don't know, because I didn't know where we were going with this. But
Okay.
this is the moment I'm like, okay, well, yeah, it's definitely her brother. You know. Um, then she tries to sneak in with the crate, and mom sees her. Uh, and mom starts to ride her about the crate of junk. And I liked this. Um, I don't want to get into too much, because we're going to talk about the character Jessica later. But uh, her only real gripe was saying they already have enough of this kind of stuff in the house. And then she follows it up with, plus your dad might want some of it. Right. So we get the hint already that Jessica is kind of like a gadget hound.
Hmm.
There's some interesting stuff, and dad's kind of on that same level. So we see dad is in the basement. Picture of Steven is on his bench. He's fixing an old football game. And again, folks, you either have to be a fan of ancient, vintage, silly games or have been alive. But if you remember, it's really looks like a little football field. It's a tin bottom. You hit a switch and something vibrates the tin and has these little plastic figures on it that vibrate and move across the board.
Right.
Right. And then you stop and then you line them up, because two of them touched and one of them has, well, for me, I know they came with something that looked like a little football, but usually it was just like a spit wad, because that was the first thing to go missing right there, aside from like 3 or 4 players. So it was always uneven. But yeah, you just chew up a piece of paper, roll it up, stick it under his elbow, and hope you vibrate to clear freedom to a touchdown. Anyway, so we get that he's working on it, because it was Stevens. And Jessica comes down and plants the crate on the counter and tries to help. One of those moments where, he's like, no, I'm doing this. I got it. And she wants to help, because we have dad he said he was going to fix it for his son, who just, died. And then we have the daughter who's like, I want to, connect with dad kind of thing. And ends up getting dropped. Dad gets angry at first, and then he settles down. She shows him the crate of trash. And he says, there's some pretty cool shit in here.
Yeah.
And that kind of, they're on the same page.
Right.
And I just want to stop here and say this little bit of a scene I thought was super well written and well done and well performed, because this was not exposition. This wasn't 15 sorrowful minutes of explaining their relationship. This put it all in perspective. Okay, so the loss of someone in a family can drive people apart or bring them together. That's number one. So we see that this is a bring together kind of moment. We see Jessica, and taking place in the late 70s, wasn't real hip for girls to be anything other than girly girls.
Right.
Right. So we have dad knows she's into this stuff. She's into it and knows her dad loves this stuff. And they're like coming, it's a bonding moment, just a
Yeah.
real short one. But I thought that just explained levels of their relationship and what we might see coming. So then mom calls down and Jessica's friends are there. And when she opens the door, this is like Pandora's box.
Oh gosh.
It's like, what kind of a mess is going to come out of there? Every movie like this is like that. It was just gorgeously done. We have what I called a late 70s nerd boy. And yes, I did learn his name, but as with everything we review, when I latch on to my own name,
I know.
so he has henceforth been dubbed Nerd Boy. We'll get to his name later. And he's wearing a very 70s looking, late 70s, outfit. The sweaters with the weird patterns, the browns and stuff. It just looked natural.
Yeah.
And I say that because I remember looking at myself in the mirror and I'm like, yep, looking good. And I look just like him. So, and then we have a girl wearing a leather flight helmet. Well, the hat.
Yeah.
Flight helmet style hat. The flaps down. A big pair of goggles up on her brow. And I just looked at her like, I love it. Yes. Yes. That bam, bam. Another example of we didn't need to talk about it. We didn't need anything. That right there explained who these people are and how they fit in with Jessica.
Right.
It was brilliant. So later, Jessica is in her room with some music playing. Dad knocks and reminds her that it's a school night. I love this part too. Then he pretends to close the door. And then Jessica whips the phone out from under her blanket. And then he catches her. And he just shouts hello to her friend. Hey, Jenner.
Or Sam.
Or was he? I thought
Sam.
Was she on with Sam?
Yeah.
Okay, Sam. And I love this because I remember that. I was like 9 and 10 in 1979. And, trying to hide the phone. Here's the cool thing. Very few houses had more than one phone line going to them.
Right.
Right. And the phone company owned all the phones. So they were happy to make sure you had a phone line or a phone jack and a phone in every room of the house.
Right.
Right. The old dial rotary phones, push button if you were lucky and hip when they came out. But yeah, every time you picked up the phone, everyone who picks up the phone is on the same line.
Yes.
So I thought, well, that was pretty clever. But I also know that some parents didn't resort to faking to close the door. They just walk in the next room, pick up the line, and say, supposed to go to bed. Click. Anyway, I thought it was great.
Dad goes back to the room with Mom. And we do get their names, but I just call them Mom and Dad through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And he is talking to Mom a little bit about how he's troubled because she doesn't like girly things. She likes basically all the same things that he likes. And that he doesn't understand her or doesn't know how to connect with her. And says that we have nothing in common. And I was like, okay, dude.
Yeah. Well, mom does very softly just say, you have more in common than you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Then we see Dad at the workshop and he's going through Jess's junk box when the door opens and she comes in. And it must be later that night because he looks at her. He's like, 15 minutes. Okay. And then they start to look at the stuff together. And one of the things in the box is the recorder from the very beginning of the film.
Yes. And we didn't mention it. This is a reel-to-reel tape recorder.
Yes.
So very old school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's trying to... He's looking for a screwdriver, and she just grabs an X-Acto knife to get the back of it unscrewed.
Well, something was... they couldn't get a lever. They were trying to free something.
Right.
And he was going to look at like a screwdriver to kind of pry it, and she's using a surgical
Yeah.
sharp blade.
So she pulls like a box cutter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God. I mean, as a parent, right
Yep.
away, I'm like, dude, stop. So she cuts herself with it, obviously.
Yeah.
And blood drips on the recorder. So later, we see the recorder on its own in the shop. And it's got a couple of drops of blood on it from Jessica.
From her. Yeah.
And then it starts to bleed on its own.
Yeah, from like the center of it where the playhead mechanisms are. Just,
Yeah.
like a lot.
More than the couple of drops that were on there.
Yes.
And then we see in Jessica's room, there's some shadowy fingers reaching toward her. And they pull her blanket before she turns on the lights. And her dad pops his head in to check on her. And it's nothing.
Right.
She goes back to bed.
Yeah. So the next day she's at school. Nerd Boy is talking about the science fair. Jessica says she has it under control, their project. And then Goggles pulls up with a corn dog. And this is a recurring thing.
Yes.
Saying they need sparklers for the fair. She's like, I got it. Sparklers. That was awesome. And then a boy, Wesley, pops in. Clearly one of the cool kids, right? He's a bit smooth. He's also kind of a dick. And asks Jessica if she has a date to the dance. And then says he's taking this other girl who shows up and stands next to him. And she's appropriately a bitch.
Right.
Just really snooty. So we have that, that
establishment of
that incubating high school clique thing that takes place in middle school. So the oil and water have started to separate, and we have the nerds, and then we have the cool people who are famously just giant turds, and then they're off. Then Jessica and team are in her basement looking at her science project, and it's a big light powered by potatoes, and that doesn't do justice to what this thing looks like. It's not like a potato clock thing, right? This is a whole thing. There's a lot of wires, a lot of things. There's a whole lot going on, and the concept is to get all these potatoes. It's like sort of like cylindrical,
right.
It goes 360 degrees. So you got potatoes, you got all these things going on, and then it powers like regular bulbs for pretty bright light.
Yeah.
Right. Only problem is it doesn't last long. That's her like catch is, this is great, but poof, then the potatoes burn out. So it's something she's got to work on. And Nerd Boy goes off to the bathroom, stops in Jessica's room. But we know this has happened a million times in real life.
Yeah.
60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, today, 1800s. Everybody stops in someone's bedroom unattended. Oh. And, of course, he's looking at a picture of Stephen when Jessica comes in. And he tells her he gets her sadness, and then we learn he lost his mom. So he's understanding where she's at. And then this is really cool. This conversation, there's a lot of different angles of them talking. And I thought it was magnificent because it gave us a super rich feel for Jessica's room. We have obviously a typewriter because there were no computers in homes in 79, for kids especially. So we have the typewriter. She's got some toy robots. There's just different things on the walls and the shelves and stuff. And
it's a period piece. Like, it's very on point.
Yes, everything was super appropriate for the era, but it definitely, she's clearly a science nerd.
Right.
One of the best kind of nerds. But I loved that. I don't know if it was on purpose. Hopefully we'll find out soon. Or if it just was a result of, the editing, but it was like just this, 360 panorama of who she is,
mm-hmm.
And it was just really subtly well done. So then we cut to the basement. Goggles is looking at Jessica's invention, and to the side, the tape recorder turns on, And then we cut back to Jessica and Nerd Boy up in her room. They're going through some of her toys. He picks up a Polaroid and does a 70s selfie where you take the Polaroid, hold it up, and he gets close to her and out.
Yep.
Excuse me, out comes the picture. And these things work for the older crowd, people who lived through this era, because it's so nostalgic. That's something I'm going to talk about, but I just want to say I just love these little bits because that is exactly how people did it, you know. And Polaroids weren't super expensive, and the film packs were relatively cheap. Plus, it's like right there when you did it. So, 70s selfie. And then here it comes. The wind up. You could already tell there was some attraction between the two. But you know, they're like 12.
Right.
He brings up the school dance. And it's super awkward and super uncomfortable because it's super memorable. That phase of your life, no matter when it was, you know. And it looks like they're, you know, gonna awkwardly and recklessly go in for their first kiss. But no, there's a loud noise. So off they go. They go into the basement. It's dark. Jessica has a flashlight. Her potato light is on the floor.
Smashed.
Then they see Goggles, pale, like ghostly pale. And then she starts pulling the skin off her face.
Yeah.
Which was super unexpected because it was like, we're in it.
Yeah.
And it was super well done.
It was.
Right? And so they scream, back up, and get ready to turn and run. And then bam, they run into Goggles. She was just getting mustard for her corn dog.
Right. She's normal now, and all the skin is on her face.
Yeah. So that wasn't her.
Right.
She was not even in the room. So Goggles, her name is Cheddar, but I like Goggles. I wrote this in my notes. And I wrote, we'll see how this plays out. And then, you know, they start cleaning up the potato light. And spoiler, I think I do resort to calling her Cheddar because it's like a super cool name.
It is a cool name.
Goggles is great, but Cheddar?
It's a great name.
Yeah.
So we have later, Mom is comforting Jessica about the project, and Cheddar is with her.
Mm-hmm.
And then she leaves the girls in the room. And Jessica unwraps her cut-up hand, and she says it's growing. But to me, I saw it, and I was just like, Jesus. What kind of parent doesn't take their kid to the ER when their whole hand is sliced open?
We had to have a discussion about this.
I was like, oh my God, it's not just a cut. It's like all like encircling her whole palm.
It's like a crescent from like her thumb up under her fingers and then down to like the same point almost under her pinky.
Right.
So like, yeah.
And it looks deep.
Well, yeah, it has edges. It's not like a cut line. It's like a little canyon.
Right. It's like, that needs stitches like right now. What? That gauze isn't doing anything for you. So then we cut away and we see Dad, who's driving in the woods. And I think he's like a park ranger, maybe? I don't know what his day job is. But the car goes dead and we get some whispers kind of starting. And I couldn't make them out. I think you could.
Yeah, but they were just, it's one of those things that I don't think you need to know what they say. And I'm not going to say them because, you know, watch the movie, people.
Secrets.
And learn for yourself.
Yeah. So, he looks in the side window and there is a woman approaching and she's dressed in some older garb.
Right.
And then he looks away and he looks back and she's gone. And then a hand grabs his arm on the steering wheel and he
Yeah.
turns, and it's the farm mom from the beginning.
Right.
And she's like creepy ghostly.
Yeah.
And then we cut back to Jess and Cheddar, and they're talking about how Jessica's a nerd, and Cheddar's giving her like a sweet friend pep talk
Yes.
about how you don't have to worry about the cool kids, because one day you're going to be doing sciencey stuff, and that's way cooler.
Yeah.
And she's not super great at pep talks, but it works.
I thought it was actually really good. Just super simple.
It is.
How kids talk, a lot of things we watch, these kids break into these like Shakespearean soliloquies of, wisdom beyond their years stuff. That is not how I talk to my friends. It was even way shorter than that. A lot of times my pep talk to some of my friends, because most of them were chuckleheads, would be like, okay, keep it super short. Be like, dude, you're going to be the bomb. And that was enough to make him go, all right.
So then we cut back to Dad, who's at the police station giving a report about what happened.
Yeah.
And the cops don't believe him, and they start asking if he's drunk. And he's like, no. And then one of them.
Well, he's not at the police station.
Oh, no, he's still in the woods.
They have come to him.
Right.
He's trying to explain, it's like I hit someone and there was dead people and there's just,
Yeah.
And they're like,
okay, dude. So one of the cops gets a little radio report, and he pulls the other cop, and he's like, we have some actual police work to do. And we learn on the way out that Charlie, one of the cops, can't stand the sight of blood.
Yeah.
Kind of an Achilles heel for a cop. But it's not the first time it's been done.
Right. And, well, Charlie's the sheriff.
Yeah.
The lead guy. I love Charlie.
I like him too.
He was awesome. Awesome character.
So then we're at the school, and we have the gym teacher, and I really loved this very tropish gym teacher from that era.
Yep.
The best thing about all of these gym teachers from that era is this perfect trope. It's the very, very it's stocky gym teacher with the sweatbands and super energetic. Doesn't ever stand up straight. Is always like crouched over in a power pose.
Yes.
And can't talk in a normal volume of voice.
Right.
Always yelling.
Well, here's the thing about these gym teachers. Up until 1985, they were all that way. But here's the best part. The way they dressed. Those shorts, and folks, you know what I'm talking about if you had gym class in the 70s and early 80s.
Those little tiny shorts.
Those ridiculous shorts for boys and girls. I mean, today they'd violate decency, dress decency codes.
Yeah.
They were so ridiculous. And they looked like somebody purposely, like, I hate gym class so much. I'm going to make everyone look ridiculous.
Right.
And it just like caught on and lasted for way too long. But yeah, all that together.
I love it.
With how they act. Yeah. It's just like memories.
Oh, man. Yeah. I was lucky enough to have a gym teacher that was very, very close to that. And I went to school in the 90s. So
that's when they faded out. But like now movies that take place today, they have to give them these like overly abundant, ridiculous quirks.
Right.
As a teacher, because they look normal.
Yeah.
Otherwise, unless someone has a like ding. It's 2012 and I'm going to put this guy in 80s shorts. Kapow!
Yeah. I adored my gym teacher. He was just like that. He yelled everything he said. He loved Queen and just blasted them at every gym class.
Yep.
Which is how I learned the words to like every Queen song ever. He had a fabulous mustache. It was just good times.
Lovely.
Yeah. So the girls are chatting on the bleachers, and Jessica's cut has grown into a weird symbol.
Yes.
And Cheddar does a little like Night of the Living Dead reference where she like slaps a piece of pizza on her face and she's like, I'm coming to get you, Jessica.
Yes.
And she's trying to make light of the weird shit.
Yeah. Well, because they told her about the face peeling thing
Right.
while they were freaked out. So yeah, she's
She puts the pizza and she like pretends to start peeling it off. It's funny.
and just before what you're gonna say next, that's when the gym teacher comes in.
Yeah.
Like, hey, pizza face. And it just starts, get out here and do this, and this. Because there's always people on the bleachers in gym class. I don't know that I've ever had anyone eating pizza
Yeah.
in gym class. But,
I don't know.
But yeah, it was funny. She's like, yeah.
So then Jessica sees, it looks like her leaving through the gym doors. And she follows.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's in this really weird space that I think is the school basement.
Yeah. I've been to a lot of these places. So, like, under the gym in a lot of these old buildings, it was part of the basement for the gymnasium. So that's where all the old sporting stuff is, because schools didn't have gym equipment lockers and storage. It was all in their little sub basement. And yeah, that's what was just all the gym class stuff, the volleyballs and the nets and, whatever ridiculous other activities they thought would make you healthy, like croquet.
So she's following, and then she finds herself, and she's facing away from herself. This is weird to talk about. And
yeah, she comes up behind herself.
Right.
Her other self is facing the wall.
Yeah. And goes to touch the shoulder when something grabs her.
Yeah.
And she freaks out, but then she kind of turns, and Cheddar is there, and everything's normal again.
Yeah.
And the other her is gone.
Right. So then we go back to home. Mom gets a call from Charlie, and he says that people are calling about strange sounds coming from their house. She's like, well, there's no one's here. Nothing's going on. Mom was doing laundry.
Right.
Right. Or no, she was in the kitchen doing something. And then she's, now after the phone call, she's in the living room folding laundry, watching Night of the Living Dead. And I was like, yes. Just a quick reference for folks who may not have heard all the episodes. The reason you see Night of the Living Dead in all of these indie and low budget films is because it's public domain.
Yes.
Romero and everybody jacked up. They screwed up when they made the movie and released it.
Without a copyright.
Without a copyright. They didn't follow the rules. And from the day it hit the theaters to today, it's been public domain. So people, if you need a well-known horror movie to play in the background, folks, Night of the Living Dead is the answer.
Mm-hmm.
And people like us never get tired of seeing it.
Well, no.
I love seeing it in the background.
I love seeing it. I also like knowing why when I see it. I'm like,
So all of a sudden the TV goes out. And there's noise from upstairs. So she goes up, and we hear a knocking or a pounding. Outside, Jessica is home on her bike. She goes in. The phone is off the hook in the living room. She calls out to her mom. She's walking through the house. And we cut to Jessica's typewriter. And her name is typed in I don't know how to explain this. It's like a few dozen times in the paper. But it's not just like straight across. It's making a shape. And I don't know if you don't remember the typewriter games from typewriter class where you would type things in the spaces and stuff. And after you got done typing that word over and over, you'd have like a rudimentary picture of a flower, right? Because it was exercises in how to set tabs and spacing and centering and, all that stuff. For those of you who in the 80s were like me playing with computers, which was basically just a big type terminal, playing things like moon landing, this thing would type out all these X's to show the landscape and this little O that was you. And you had to type in your formula for thrust and vector to see if you smashed into the ground or you went down softly. But I thought this was awesome. And it reminded me of somebody's cut.
Oh, okay.
Getting kind of close to that. So we see that. And then in the kitchen, she sees her mom at the stove. And it's the same kind of thing. So mom's facing away, back to Jessica. And you notice, before they do the close-up on all the shit that's on the counter next to her, you notice that her sleeve, her right hand, right, is bloody.
Covered in blood.
And on the counter is all this bloody meat, and she's just got this giant cleaver. A close-up shows a face. You can see the nose, the eye, the lips, and then she starts hammering on that. And then we see even more blood all over her arm. And she starts to turn. We don't get the full thing, but she starts to turn, but she gets enough that we can see her face has been torn off. So that's her face she's cutting up or cut off. We don't know.
Right.
And of course, Jessica bolts. She's gone.
Yeah, she just nopes right out of there.
Yes, she does. Because she's smart.
Right. That's the right thing to do.
It is. It's not time for conversation. It's not time to get to the bottom of the problem.
Mom? Yeah. No.
Oh, Mom, what happened? Oh, no. Nope.
Yeah, she just wordlessly leaves.
Yep. Time to go. Good for you, Jess.
Yeah. So she goes straight to Sam's house, and Sam is the nerdy boy.
It's the nerd boy, yeah.
Yeah. And she's crying. And then we kind of cut to Charlie, and I kind of call them Cop 2.
Yeah.
In the car, they're bickering about how Cop 2 puts ketchup on his hot dog.
Kind of a ridiculous. I eat ketchup on a hot dog, but it was
outrageous.
It was unforgivable.
Yeah.
No male or female adult should do that to a hot dog. What he did.
So a kid comes up and starts to give them shit, and then they get a call
about the hot dog.
Yeah. So they get the call and then head to check it out after Cop 2 whines a little bit about, can I just eat my lunch first? And Charlie's like, no.
Oh, those small town guys.
And it's at the Daniels house.
Yeah.
So cut to the house, and Dad is just getting home, but the cops are there and they won't let him in.
Right.
So they end up cuffing him, and it's interesting because they don't say what happened in the house. We know.
Well, Charlie tells him several times, you don't want to go in there. I'm not letting you in there.
Right.
I'm not letting you in there.
Yeah. So they cuff him, and Cop 2 takes him to the police station. And I noticed that the set for the station is really good. Even, I'm just blown away by this low-budget period piece, honestly, because it was so impressive.
Yeah. Well, we talked about some things that we've seen recently, not necessarily done an episode about, where, in particular, Sharkensaw.
Sure.
The women's maximum security prison was literally like the trailer in a small park that is the Rangers visitor station that was supposed to be the whole prison.
Right. And the thing is, I'm pretty forgiving, I think, about low budget period pieces. I try to be very forgiving.
As do I. But I also, you have to show me at least a grain of effort. Because like I said, we've seen so many where it's like Plan 9 from outer space, right?
Yeah.
Really? You're just going to hang curtains and that's your police station?
Right.
Come on, man. Clear out a corner of your basement. I would be happier with that. But this was really good. Plus, they did use an external shot of a sheriff's station.
Right.
Because you can't fake that.
No.
Unless you've got, a multi-million-dollar budget, because this was a beautiful building.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure where this was shot, but it's gorgeous.
That was built in the 70s.
Yep.
Dad is upset at the station and he wants to know what's going on. So then we see Cheddar rolling up to the Daniels house on her bike, And she starts talking to the two cops outside. And these are two new cops. They're just
two different cops
set there to guard
yeah.
the house. And she asks, what's going on? Is it about ghosts? And the cops tell her to leave.
Yep.
And she's real sassy with these cops. I don't want to give too much away, but she does have a little bit of a mime off.
Yes.
With one of them.
Well worth seeing.
Yeah. And then she gets radioed by Jessica. So the kids have the walkies, their long range walkies.
Yes.
That they, communicate with each other. And it's really cute. She's like, DEFCON 4? It's serious. Yeah, and then she leaves. So then we're in like a barn or something, an old building.
Yeah,
of some kind.
Yeah, and at first it was kind of weird because there wasn't context. But that's the thing with all these films. I'm going to call them kids-centered films. Okay, because these three kids are the stars. Everyone else is just there to, be part of the fun, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's on point. But you never know. Is it like one of their parents? Like, do they have a farm? This is an outbuilding. Is it an abandoned bit in these little towns? Because we both have lived in little towns and large towns.
Yeah. And
there are just areas that we hung out as like the meetup spot and the hangout place and everything, and it was, very similar to this kind of thing. And if I had a camera back then and just like took some pictures, you'd have no context of what or why. Right. So other than that, then I got over it quick, but just like,
it essentially functions as their clubhouse.
Yeah.
So the kids are all meeting up there, and the cut on Jessica's hand is a lot more developed now. It's like the full-on symbol.
Yes.
And then, so they're talking about like what's going on. They're trying to puzzle everything out because they saw Cheddar and they, pulling her face off, but it wasn't Cheddar. And then, Jessica's mom and what'll happen with that. So Cheddar goes on a little tangent it just shows her she's not a highly intelligent kid. Book intelligent. She's got a lot of heart.
She's not at Jessica's level, in terms of like, IQ and the science and stuff. But she's not stupid, but she's the unbridled thinker, right? She doesn't have any rows plowed in her field to plant and, take the seed of a thought and progress it through to the end. Right. She is just shotgun. It can go
anything
anywhere
that comes to mind.
Second.
Yeah.
Yep.
So she, am I me? And then she starts talking about werewolves.
Yep. And
then Sam just pulls out a notebook and asks to see Jess's hand so he can draw the symbol.
Yeah.
And they're off to the library to see what's going on. And I love the librarian, who's also very trope. When we first see her, she's got the big cat eye glasses and the little I don't know what it's called, the little chain hanging from them.
Yeah, the glasses chain. So you can like pull them off and they just hang around your neck. I need some of those, actually. I'm sick of taking these goddamn things on and off. I can't. I spend more time looking for my glasses to use them.
I will get you a glasses chain.
Well, I want to do it.
I know you.
I'll get you it.
So she tells them they only have 5 minutes before the library closes. So they start pouring through books.
Yes. I just want to say, she said it. It was written beautifully. The actress performed it perfectly. She sounded like every librarian, school or public library that I remember from that era. No nonsense. Yeah. We're closing in 5 minutes. And then I'm not going to check out books after that. Boom. And it's funny. Being so far removed from that now, I couldn't help but think a lot of people aren't going to get how much of a dagger that was in the heart of a kid back then. Because libraries were all there was.
Right.
I mean, that was your font of information, whether
You
you
gotta
were.
watch that clock like a hawk.
Oh, and they were deadly serious, right?
Yeah.
That whole myth of the friendly librarian who's like, oh, it's 20 minutes after closing time. And oh, no, 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 no. Library closes at 8:59. You better be out because, we used to have stories we tell one another of what happened to the kid who was there at 9:01. And it was never good. They were just like, wham. I remember being in a couple of those situations where I'm in a library and, because it took me forever to get there. And you got to go to the card catalog and you don't even know what the hell you're looking up. So you're just trying to what would it be about? What would it be about? Trains, planes? I don't know. And hope that you get you. Then you just like run to an aisle, and because you don't even know what category you're looking for. And thanks to the Dewey Decimal System, you've got no alphabetical work going for you. You're just
Right.
like, and then, if you're
You
lucky.
see that it's about time, so you just grab a book at random.
Yep. And if you're lucky, you have your great big Casio watch. You're like, oh no. And exactly that, what you just said. I have many times just like grabbed like 3 books because 3 was the limit. Because in my heart, I wasn't leaving that library without checking out a book.
I need something.
Yep. And then I get home and you're like, what the hell did I grab? Maybe that's why I have such like a spotted knowledge of just random stuff. Because it's like, oh, okay. Trucks on trains. Let's dig in. Because I've got 2 weeks before I have to take it back. So anyway, librarian, true to her form, comes to their table at closing. And then she spots the drawing. Before
That Sam did.
Yeah, before he can and right away she's like, where'd you get that? And of course the kids lie, saying it's for a school project. She says, hang on. She goes off and then she comes back. Her hair is down. She suddenly looks hip and then just kind of looks at him. Are you coming? And she walks off. So they follow her. She leads them into the back room.
Mm-hmm.
Hidden in the library. In there is a crystal ball on a table, a Ouija board, and other affiliated stuff. And this is her personal, collection.
I love her. I fell in love with her right then and there.
Yes. I was just, I couldn't register a thought. I was just taking it in going, yes. Yes to all of this. So she goes off to look for something and then comes back with some books. Flipping through, she finds the bit on demonic possession and then she lets them hunt through. And she mentions like page 73, might be interested in page 73. And they find the drawing in the book.
And it's the same book from the very beginning of the movie.
Yes. As they leave, as they walk out, librarian's at the checkout counter smoking a joint.
Yes.
It's after hours, folks. At 9:01, the library becomes a very different place.
I guess.
It's like Narnia on mushrooms. So, she gives them a bookmark. That's her business card. She's Mariana Moonstone. Psychic. It's before everything was deemed New Age.
Right.
Right. So, we all know the crystal ball and the Ouija board and stuff and spiritualism and all that. So she was heavily into that. And I was just like, I love it. I love it. So then we cut to the station. Dad's still sitting in a cell. And then Charlie comes in. They start screaming at one another. I don't want to be here. Why am I here? Well, tell us what you did. I don't know. I didn't do anything. You don't be this. And I don't know anything. And then there's a call for Charlie. So he tells the other cop to get Dad out of the cell. They think he killed his family because they obviously have seen what happened. Oh, no, they didn't know what happened.
Right.
That's kind of the weird thing. He's like, I'm not letting you in there. And then they're like, where's the body? So there must have been like all the goo.
Right.
But the body was missing because they asked more than once, where are they? What'd you do with them?
Right.
Right. Because they saw something, but they can't find the body of Mom. And then Jessica's like nowhere to be seen because she's off doing all this other stuff.
Right.
So anyway, where am I? Yeah, asking where'd you bury the bodies, and that's where so her body wasn't in the house. Maybe it was just the blood. And then gets a call. It's Jessica. The call for Charlie is Jessica. She's trying to explain what is going on, but then all of a sudden there's this interference, and this is what happened in the beginning when he was driving.
Right.
Those voices. He was listening to the radio, and then it would go down. You hear, and then the call's done.
Right. So we don't know how much of, what he got. She tried to tell him everything.
Yeah. And then the kids are off to Alex Quinn's house. Quinley?
Yeah.
What is it, Quinley? Maybe.
Because it was Dr. Quinley.
Yes, that's right.
He is the author of the book.
Yes.
So they looked up Quinley in the phone book and found an Alex.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's right. And they were like, oh, that's close enough. Because they were looking for Mark Quinley.
Right.
So they go with what they have. So while they're on their way back at the station, the second cop sees something under his desk. It's one of those, what? Huh? Then he has Dad look. Under there, he sees nothing. And then suddenly, second cop is pulled under the desk. He's grabbed.
And then he's gone.
Yep. Dad calls for Charlie, who looks under the desk. And this was awesome. As he's looking, a hurricane force explosion of blood. Whoosh!
Splat.
Just soaks him from under the desk.
Yeah. I don't know if I have a splat noise. Probably not.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
No, I got falling and stuff, but yeah, it was great. And then the very next shot, we see Dad and Charlie bolting out of the station.
Covered in blood.
Yep. And into a squad car, and off they go.
Mm-hmm. So then we cut to the Daniels house, and the two guard cops are outside chatting about corn syrup conspiracies.
Yes.
And one of them goes inside to relieve himself. And as I just thought this was interesting because it reminded me that not a lot of time has actually passed in this movie. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. We've been slowly ebbing through a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, a couple, maybe 2 days total,
Oh, in totality. Yeah.
Yeah. So, because as he walks in, I'm like, damn, all that funeral stuff is still right there.
Yeah.
As he walks in, cookies still sitting on the little table.
Yep.
So he goes upstairs and then the lights go out and he doesn't seem super concerned about it.
It's not, if you're not suspicious of weird supernatural stuff taking place, it's really just a non-thing. It's lights.
Yeah. So after his constitutional, he goes in the hall and the lights go out again. And then the phone rings. And he follows the phone line, which is weirdly stretched downstairs.
Yeah.
Around a corner, leading him to the basement door. And he gets suddenly, as he's looking in, he gets pulled down and there's another, fun splat of blood.
Yep. Yeah. Splat just doesn't do it. It's a hurricane force wave. I don't know how many gallons they had to pump into whatever was projecting this, but it was awesome.
So then we see the kids have arrived at Alex's house, and Cheddar bemoans that she left her backpack full of corn dogs at the library, and she's bummed about it.
Yes.
Poor Cheddar. So they knock, and the door opens, and it's the younger guy from the beginning. He's older now. He's got a little gray in his hair.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a priest now.
Yeah. The son who was doing the filming.
Who was upset that the priest was called because he was like, we're sciencing this.
Yeah.
Sciencing it. So they ask him about the book and he just shuts the door in their face.
No.
And then as they're like, oh, okay. So they were about to leave and he opens the door back up. Back to Charlie and Dad, who get to the house, the Daniels' house, and Charlie is mad that his guards aren't outside.
Right.
So he tells Dad to stay in the car while he goes to check it out. And then we go back to Alex's house. And the kids have told him everything. And I really liked how this was done because sometimes in movies, you have to literally hear the exposition of the whole story that you just watched happen.
Yeah.
As someone tells it to someone else.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, thank God. Because they're just right at the tail end of that conversation.
They are.
Like, and then we got here.
And here we are. Thank you, God. Yep.
Right. And so he starts to tell them about the disturbed boy at the farmhouse. And we kind of we get a little bit of a flashback to after that symbol had been burned in the wall.
Right.
And Alex had freaked out about the symbol and wanted to leave. But right there, the priest came down and talked about the sanguine demon and the marked one.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to stop it is to sacrifice the possessed one. So we see this, and it's pretty dark. It killed the mom.
I just want to say, this is like the darkest bit. Because we saw that whole thing, and we were left wondering, what was the full deal. Holy shit.
Yeah.
This was surprising.
Right. And then it was killing the priest. It was like choking him.
Yes.
And it suddenly stopped, and we kind of panned the camera around, and Dr. Quinley Sr.
Yeah, Mark.
Right. Had shot the boy.
Yes.
The kid. So the kid's blood seeped into the tape recorder. And Alex tells the kids that the church came in and cleaned everything up, then took all their equipment away.
Right.
And Cheddar she's like, hypothetically, what if someone has a mark? And then the lights flicker. And there's a knock at the door. It's the librarian.
And then we cut back to Charlie. There's lots of blood in the house. He finds one of the cops' name tags, picks it up, and then the camera focuses on it. And the name on the missing officer's tag is Jason Mewes. I shit you not. We're like, no. Are you kidding me?
And our daughter was watching this with us, and she was like, who's Jason Mewes? And we were like, oh my God.
Yeah, she's not one for remembering names.
She isn't.
No, but she knew exactly who he was.
Yes.
Yeah. But I thought that was an awesome hat tip. I love stuff like this, And then all of a sudden Dad bursts in. He's looking around. He ends up in the workshop, and then we see Jessica's new and improved potato light. It's pretty big.
It's huge.
Yeah. And it works when he flips it on, meaning it didn't burn out within, I think it was like 10 seconds or so.
Yeah.
It's like, just like, I am light, I am here.
And it's really, like, it's pretty in a just fascinating
Well, it has like a,
way.
In my basement workshop look to it for the construction, but you can tell that clearly this is, it's like, if you think of like the original Apple computer in its wooden frame, right? So this is what I can build, but, later we see the refined version. Right. When factories and money all come into play. So it looked really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it reminded me of something out of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
They had a lot of stuff like that, and it really just fit that, and it looked appropriate for there was no, like, obviously, LEDs and
right.
LCDs and things. So anyway, then we cut back to the kids and the librarian and the priest. He's talking about this thing, building power. And the librarian says it can't be killed. And she finds a line in her book in Latin, and it says, the final door is the backwards door. Nobody knows what that means. So they're trying to figure it out. And the priest says, anything can be a doorway. It just needs blood. And then the librarian starts to choke. And then we hear a crunching. Suddenly her head is missing and blood is spurting. It was really quick. We thought, they're on. Oh, Jesus Christ. She's gone. She's out.
Oh, there she goes.
Yep. Blood spurting. Everyone is running away. And something grabs Jessica by the feet and starts to pull her away. And Cheddar is on it trying to help. The priest is about to go back in when Jessica comes running out. And Cheddar is like stopped at the door. And there's like a bit of a struggle, and she's sucked inside. And then inside of the house, the inside of the house is flash. So we're outside. From the inside is flashing like poltergeist. If folks remember that, it's just super bright, like
through the windows,
10,000 candle power lights pulsing. So the priest dutifully drives away with Jessica and Nerd Boy.
Yeah. Shit gets real really quick.
And yes.
So Dad and Charlie are in the library now because that was where Jessica had told Charlie they were on the phone call that got cut in and out.
Yeah.
And Dad finds Cheddar's bag with her corn dogs and a walkie in the bag. So he's like, oh my God, we can try and talk to her with this.
Mm-hmm.
So then we're back with Alex and the two kids. They're, driving along. Oop, booped it. Oh, there we go. I'm always going to boot my mic. You're just going to have to deal with it.
I'm aware.
So Jessica has a meltdown in the car and she's upset about Cheddar. She's the marked one. She's talking about how she needs to die. Like it's this whole and it makes sense. And Sam is trying to, talk her out of it. He's like, we can beat it. We can do this. So we get Dad trying to reach them on the walkie. And Alex in the car seems like he's thinking through what he has to do, right?
Yeah.
As the person in the situation, he's like, I'm going to have to kill a kid.
Yeah.
So he's pulling a gun and then he hears the walkie go off and kind of puts the gun away and gets the kid's attention. So Jess tells Dad and Charlie where they are. And Alex seems to still be kind of like steeling himself for what he thinks he has to do. So inside the car where the kids are, the radio starts to go weird and Sam tries to get out. Alex sees from the outside, because he's standing in front of the car, sees Jessica's eyes go black and it's the like black full sclera.
Yeah.
And tries to shoot her. Before he can fire his shot, he gets dragged away.
Yeah. And
again, some super fun effects here. And throughout the whole movie, these effects have been really fun.
Yes.
And then Dad and Charlie arrive just in time to pull Jess from the car.
Yeah.
So they set off, and Jess is talking about how she knows how to send it back. So they get back to the house, and they need to find the recorder, but they can't find it.
Right.
Like they're like, it was right here, and everyone's looking for it. And Jessica turns and sees it in the doorway. And then the light flickers. And Dad pulls out a lantern. And the moment he looks away, the lantern explodes. And whatever these things are, grab Dad. Yeah. He's gone. And then Sam switches on the potato light, which the demons like shy away from. They hate it.
Right.
Because it's like pure light.
Right. It's pure. I mean,
right.
It's coming from like nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they don't have a lot of potato battery.
No, it's good. I think they had like 30 minutes.
Yeah. Or 5 minutes even. Like not very long.
No.
So Jess sets Charlie up with a potato flashlight. A real quickly like slapped together.
Yeah, like small bulb and a tater and
yeah.
There you go.
To go out to the shed to get some more potatoes so they don't run out of light. And Sam decides to go with him to help carry the potatoes. Because he's like, you can't carry the flashlight and your gun and also some potatoes.
Right.
So Jess doesn't want him to go. And he says, well, we have to go to the dance together, so obviously I have to come back.
Yeah.
So,
long story short,
they go out to the shed. Charlie gets killed, and Jessica saves Sam, and they get the potatoes, and they bring them back in. So, as they're discarding potatoes from the light, which has gone out now, Sam sees the tape recorder, and she's like, oh, and then a portal opens up, and I think I messed up earlier because they did grab Dad earlier, but they managed to save him.
Yeah, he wasn't gone.
Right. So Dad tells Jess that he loves her, cuts his hand on the recorder, and goes into the portal, hoping to sacrifice it himself instead of her.
Right.
And it seems over because he goes into the portal and everything seals up.
Yeah.
And Jess and Sam are, there together. And then the tape starts to play. And Sam just suddenly, you see it, gets a fist punched through his throat.
Well, they do it via shadow.
Yeah.
Because, you don't want to see a young teenager have that actually happen. But,
right.
Yeah, so they see a shadow. And then,
Shoop.
Which was actually more shocking.
Yeah.
Because when you see a shadow on a wall, it's just part of the editing, part of the cut. You don't certainly expect it to be a brutal, fast kill scene.
Right.
I was like, ooh.
And then the demon comes like face to face with Jessica. And she's the marked one.
Yeah.
And it's trying to kind of turn her.
Mm-hmm.
But she resists it and cuts her hand to bleed on the tape recorder.
Yeah. A couple things happen.
Right.
That didn't get put in here. But I'm going to leave it at that. A couple things happen, folks, that you're going to need to see for yourself. But what happens is we end up, after those things happen, back at the antique shop where Jessica was at the counter with the crate of junk, right? So we have jumped to the back at the beginning of the movie. Only now she is like super freaked out.
Yes.
Right? So she runs away, leaving the crate of junk that had the recorder in it on the counter. The guy's like, and then just, like puts it away. So she pedals home, and along the way, she nearly gets hit by a car. She falls. She looks at her hand, and there's no mark. And then all of a sudden, Nerd Boy is there, and he was riding by and saw her fall, and Jessica just hugs him. And then they're walking home, and then soon Cheddar is catching up to them. And we just close with the three of them walking along the tracks with their bikes, heading home.
Mm-hmm.
And might sound like that was an abrupt, weird way to do it, but we don't want to talk about those last elements, but it flows perfectly.
Yeah.
Believe us.
It works well.
And that, folks, is They Reach, the movie.
A lot of fun.
Now, let's talk about the real stuff. It was a lot of fun. I mentioned earlier that, they mentioned compared to Stranger Things. And I think that's unfair for a lot of reasons. I think it's because Stranger Things was the first thing in a long time to really build on nostalgia. That was the audience, the spookiness of it and some of the weird stuff going on. As with these, 12, 13 episode seasons, this one thing that's happening, it just gets drawn out sometimes. It's like, okay, I get it. And then you have like 3 episodes spread out where it has nothing to do with anything because it's like, well, we got to slow the story down and this and that, But here's the thing. It's not original. It's not original, right? It didn't like give us a fresh take on the 80s. It didn't invent any kind of anything having to do with how kids were in particular groups and how things, that has all been established. It's just been a long time since we've visited that. That's why the TV show The Wonder Years was so successful. Because people who grew up in the 60s and early 70s were like, yes, finally. Everyone else watching it just found the humor in it because it was good writing.
Yeah.
There was a lot of nostalgia there. And that's where, at that time, the adults in that era, when that show was on, ate it up. Plus, it had Daniel Stern narrating. So, yes. So I think it's unfair to make a comparison because usually comparisons end up negative. This was just simply 3 kids, and I'm typically not a fan of horror movies where the kids are the stars. So you think of like Monster Squad, you think of like all the Disney stuff where, first of all, it's PG or G, you know, and they it's just so bad. It's just so campy. These things when they do that. I was admittedly delightfully surprised how these characters weren't made to be more than what they are. What they were as just standard kids in this particular clique was magnificent, and it carried the film. You know, things like the walkie-talkies. You know, I can already hear people like, oh, well, you know, they did that Stranger Things. Well, guess what? We all did it. So fuck Stranger Things. We all had walkie-talkies if we could afford them. Some of us had really good ones. Some like me had, well, would have been better off with 2 tin cans and a string, but I had a walkie-talkie. And don't think we didn't try to use that shit all the time, you know. And that went from like 77, 78 through the 80s,
Mhm.
right? CBs. If you had like a limited range CB, I had this radio. It was really weird. Imagine a white square in the middle, a radar dish or an antenna dish that you pulled up, pulled out the antenna in the middle of it. And it was this dish, and it was only maybe like 8 inches. And you could rotate it. It had a radio. It had a well, walkie-talkie, but it called it a CB, and it had a CB microphone. And then on the side, it had an 8-track cassette slot. I never used that for anything other than trying to talk to people. It was just garbage, but I loved it. You know, I think this thing stands on its own. I myself will not ever compare it to Stranger Things, other than just having talked about it because it was, you know, brought up. Um, it was fun. It was, I think, an appropriate level of horror without getting campy, without taking us into like Rob Zombie style horror, right? I think this was a nice, refreshing road that I don't know. I was very satisfied watching this all the way through, and the ending. I was just, this is awesome. This will be one, you know, that we'll own. And more importantly, Lily liked it,
Yeah.
right? And you know, we asked her, you know, or I asked the, you know, what do you think of like the girl? She's like, yeah, she's cool. I I thought it was a very nice representation. It wasn't modernized.
No.
No, we've talked about how the, you know, period pieces, they bring in like 2020 mannerisms and thought, and it just blows the thing away, right? That is not how people acted or spoke or how things worked. This was very on point, and you know, it's another thing to have something out there for young people who might view this and just kind of identify and connect. You know, from a nostalgic point, I did. You know, it's like nerds, my peeps. I know exactly where they're coming from.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's kind of like the big thing I wanted to say, because I worry about these comparisons turning into a negative thing, and there's nothing negative about this. This is an awesome film.
Yeah. So some of the lessons that I took from this film,
Yeah.
watching through, were I think they did really, really good job of developing properly the characters that needed development and keeping simple the characters that needed to be simple. Right? Like the librarian, you know.
Right.
And the kids were very well done,
Mm-hmm.
which is tough to do,
It is.
honestly.
It is. Well, that hole when the door opened, the visual representation,
Yeah.
right away, just I was settled in.
Hmm.
I got it.
They also did a really good job of setting the scene and explaining situations without a lot of exposition, which was really nice.
Mhm.
Like they let you kind of draw your own conclusions. Lighting and framing and pacing
Mm-hmm.
are all things that I like. If you want to learn about those things, like I would recommend watching this movie
Yeah.
specifically for those three things.
This for everything from no budget, ultra low budget to medium budget. Watch this. This is the look you're going for,
Yeah.
right? This is what you can do, because this was not like a $2.5 million Kickstarter,
Right.
right? But they did it, and they did a lot of stuff in this thing that was top notch.
Yeah.
We didn't have cardboard control panels. We didn't have paper mache hats. We didn't have all the stuff that sometimes people have to resort to. Sylas managed to pull this off top form across the board. I would be hard pressed to be nitpicky about anything, because I think it just comes more, I don't know, maybe it would signal a personal need to tear someone down, because this was gorgeous. And the feel of it,
Mm-hmm.
the color, right? The color of the frames, the whole thing we talk about color correction and stuff.
I'm such a sucker for this soft look that this has. I love when I see films and they have that look. And that's why I'm always attracted to like Wes Anderson films.
Yes.
Things that have that kind of, I don't know, it's just a softer feel overall.
Yeah, absolutely.
But at the same time, the color in this was really good. Sometimes when you watch films that are like a period piece or set in the 70s, or even films from the 70s,
yeah,
they tend to look a bit washed out, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a sepia wash over top of them, and all of the lighter kind of pastel-y colors sort of blend together and it looks muddied.
Right.
This did not look like that. Everything was very clear. The colors were beautiful, and there were a lot of dark light, right?
Oh, yeah, contrast.
Very quick.
Scenes.
Yeah. And even in framing, dark on half the screen and light on half the screen.
Yes.
And those were all done really well. And if you've ever lit, I mean, even just like you've lit things,
Yep.
If you've ever lit a set or even just lit a studio for like a photo shoot, simply, that is not easy to do and keep that level of clarity.
No. Go ahead.
No, I'm good.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just saying, because we've seen that in a lot of no budget films. They can't afford the lighting, right? And you got to go with what you got. And we've seen where they're outside and they try to do their best to work with what they've got, but there's the burnout from the sun and stuff and all that. And and again, that's fine. I mean, you can only do what you can do, right? As long as you get something on film, you're doing your thing. But when it comes to lighting, if you have the money and you start buying the equipment, and this is part of it, to make something look natural takes way more lights, way more time, and way more coordination, where there's very little room for error. And people a lot of times don't appreciate that. Like the director of photography has to work, with the lighting and stuff to make sure on film this is how it's going to look. And it's not so simple as hey, this is a nicely lit room. No. You have to block out all the light that naturally exists and create your own new light and make it look like you're not creating light. And what you're talking about, the washed out from the 70s. So most films were okay. A lot of studios, the big budget stuff, looked good because they had all the money and crew and post people to handle that. But here's where things went wrong. Number one, beginning filmmakers back then, trying to do their indie thing, didn't understand film. There was many types of film that you could shoot a movie on, and they choose the wrong one.
Yeah.
And that's just like as photographers, right? You have to know what an ISO setting is. You have to know what it is you're shooting, and it's getting the wrong, they call it film speed, the level of ISO, the exposure level of the film. And a lot of people would go out and just get like ISO 400. Okay. Well, that's great. That's usually pretty commonly for like if you're doing a sort of like daytime indoors outdoors kind of thing, maybe with or without a flash. It's pretty good. It's, you take the picture, bam, the negative or the film when it's exposed to the light from the shutter is like, got it, right? The higher you go, the faster it goes, got it. So if you buy like an ISO 1200 film, put it in your camera, and you're out like, a lot of your shit's going to come out pure white, because I guarantee you didn't set your things up because you didn't even know what the film was about. Higher the number, the faster it takes light. The lower number, the slower it takes light. And if you do, for photos, I just 24 frames I just wasted. Okay. For a film though, the shit's expensive. And there's nothing like shooting a whole day and then you go and you develop it and you're like, oh, there's not a lot you can do. So that's where a lot of that happened. Stuff that we've seen that has been made recently, they don't understand film. That's what I love about this movie. It looks like it was shot on film.
Yes, it does.
It has what you're talking about, that soft stuff we've talked about before where they try to shoot movies and stop doing ultra 4K. Jesus Christ, we don't need that level of clarity.
I honestly don't like how it looks.
No. And here's testament to how well they shot this, edited it, processed it, right, for the final thing. Over Halloween, we talked about how we watch some of the classics, right? We watch other classic movies.
Right.
And stuff. And a lot of them look like shit on our 4K television.
I know.
Right? They don't play well. And a lot of people who shoot period films, 60s and 70s, they applied, Instagram filters basically to it to make it look this way and that way, which, is fine on your phone. And it might actually be fine on your computer screen when you're editing.
It's fine for a 3-minute long YouTube video.
Yeah. But then you play the finished product on a regular television. And we've seen a lot of stuff where we're like, Jesus, that does not work well on that. This felt great looking at it.
Yeah.
It stood up to the scrutiny of 4K. It held on to that softness of tones, and all of our TV adjustments did not jack it up. It was like bulletproof.
Yeah.
So Sylas, whatever you did, man,
worked.
So yeah, that's it. It feels like a film, not just a movie.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel or look low budget.
Not at all. Not at all. And I know there's concern that when people hear things are low budget, they turn away from them. That's why we're here to say stop doing it, because some of the most beautiful gems that we've come across in our lifetime, have been just like barely out of the box productions, right? Don't ever let that turn you away, because two things are going to happen. One of two things, right? One, you're going to watch it and you're going to go, oh my God, what? Have fun doing it. Or two, you're going to go, how did I miss this?
My favorite, absolute favorite indie movies or B movies that I see are ones where I go in thinking, you and I are going to riff this thing the whole way through.
Yep. Right.
We start watching it and we're like, this is going to be ridiculous and fun. And then you realize after, several minutes of watching, not even super far in, you realize, wow, I really like this.
Yes.
And those are my favorite ones.
Yeah. And, and it's not to disparage anybody, but we've talked about it before, the simple fact of life. There are good directors. There are not good directors. There are great directors. And then there are those, that small group of people who are like, oh, they've been working on this since they were in the womb. They came into this world just waiting to get to the appropriate age and place in life to just explode this art form, right? Doesn't matter where you fall in that. You're doing what you're doing, and that's the best. But let's be honest. If somebody doesn't know how to direct, doesn't know how to edit, doesn't know what they're doing, they're going to come out with something that we're going to riff on. Sometimes have fun, or sometimes get very angry about.
You get angry.
Because I see the potential. I guess that's part of it. Being a cinephile, I don't just judge something as, oh, what a piece of crap. I look at, the things that they could have done and understanding what they're working with. It doesn't take me long in a movie. Like you said, a few minutes in, you're like, oh, this is awesome. At the same point, a few minutes in, I can be like, oh, I know you could have done this and this and this and this. I know these things were within your grasp. One, because they're free. In post production, they're free.
Yeah, we've seen a lot that we were like, this had so much potential.
Yeah, just Google the plugins, man. I have like 50 of them myself. Didn't pay for them. They worked beautifully. It's all you needed, man. All you needed, but you didn't bother. So, roar.
Yeah.
Um,
But I think this movie is, to sum it up, this movie is a low budget technical masterpiece.
Yes. On the technical side, absolutely.
Yeah.
Story, I like it.
It was simple. It's a horror movie.
It's a horror movie, right? But here's the things that drove it for me. Number one, low budget. They did the Steven Spielberg Jaws thing. Are you out of coffee? Is that what you're moping about?
I'm nearly out.
We're nearly done. Relax. So we talked about before, when you have a low budget for a horror, don't try to make out some like alien, xenomorph creature. That's going to cost you your entire production budget, and then you're not going to have any way to actually film it.
Yeah.
What you do is you find out ways to creatively introduce and interact with a creature or a force. Now, I think they did a perfect balance, because some of the what we did see was stunning.
Yeah.
It was top-notch stuff. The effects and the manner in which it was displayed. The other scenes where we don't see anything, we have enough balance of what we see and what we don't see to flow, right? This is not a movie where everything is completely out of sight and it's just sounds and people reacting. They really stitched those two things together beautifully. Yeah, that was quite something.
Mm-hmm.
What I want to talk about, though, is the actors.
Okay.
These kids did a phenomenal job.
They did.
We have 3 12-year-olds giving what was written.
Or 13, I'm not sure. Somewhere in that
range. Mary Madeline was 12. I know that.
Okay.
Because, her mom told me. And it's in her bio. So, 12 years old when cast and everything, and she's like 15 now. So she's not much different, right? Her being the hero, number one, I thought was fantastic, because we will always say the more females of any age in charge of the movie, the better.
Just in charge of anything generally.
Well, yeah, but we want to see them in the roles more. I know we want directors and stuff, but nobody sees the director.
Right.
That's adult stuff. Kids need to see kids doing stuff in a not campy way, in a not ridiculous way, in a not overly done clown way. A lot of things have done that. We talked about Stranger Things a couple times, like swung that way, and I was like, I'm not. They could have done better. That could have, overall. And then we have like Goonies, which is just the breakfast club of little kids going on an adventure. They're so overly done, but it's a comedy.
Well, yeah.
So that's fine, and I love it. I have nothing to complain about the Goonies. These are not Goonies kids. These kids were given material to work with that presented them as just like real kids, just normal people.
Yeah.
And I think their talent went a long way in providing that for us. She wasn't like the Wesley Crusher of Star Trek, where she's like solving every problem and thinking, intellectually 15 levels above all the adults and everything, or even the rest of her peer group. She's just a nerd who loves science and knows some things, but none of that stuff actually helped in the battle. She didn't have all the answers. They had to find them, and things happened. I thought it was very well done, and I think this would be great for young women to see and just enjoy, and then her support crew, right? Because, nerds had their little groups and support groups. I mean, I did, you did, our little group. But one thing you mentioned was the adults.
Well, I mean, the adults were okay.
Well, and that's just it. When you have the kids in charge, adults can't be full 100% level responsible adults. You have to peel them back a little bit to let the kids shine and do their stuff. Because you're talking about like, oh my God, if that was the cut that she had, why wouldn't she go to the emergency room? What parent wouldn't take her? Like you've cut yourself. I've cut my thing. She didn't cut herself like that. We didn't see her go like she was trying to carve a giant pumpkin on her hand. And there's a little bit of blood, and you bandage it up. Lily's got head cuts. We just bandage it up and go. When we were kids, I didn't even tell anybody I had a cut. I would just go find a bandage and I'd go. But as parents, I can tell you a lot of these shenanigans wouldn't have flown. But you can say that about every movie.
Well, yeah.
Every TV show about kids. And you have to buy into that. So, the parents, Charlie is my favorite adult. I know you love the librarian.
Yeah.
Right? She's my number 2. But Charlie, love him. I love that character. I just couldn't get enough of him on screen.
You like the straight man in a lot of things. Like that ends up being your favorite person.
Not always. I don't think he was so much the straight. He had some really good. I loved his reactions.
Yeah,
I
he
loved
was
how
fun.
he was written. I love the lines that he had. That whole hot dog thing. I love it. And maybe he was a straight man because he was surrounded by idiots. But
well, yeah.
But I like how it was peeled back just enough where the kids were given room to shine, and the adults, were doing their thing or fell victim to what was going on. And they just, in this film, they weren't allowed to come in and stomp all over everything.
Right.
I think that's a big killer of plot flow. We've seen movies where things are going and the adults come in, and now the kids the plot has shifted. Now they have to overcome what the adults have implemented.
Right.
That becomes a whole big thing. And then they go back to dealing with whatever situation it was. I don't like that. This didn't have that, so it's what made it really more enjoyable for me. I think these kids did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
And I think the adults did a good job as a supporting outer ring, giving them the playground to run around in. And of course, the director putting this all together, I think he got the most out of them. I didn't see anything that looked like it was, an unperformed performance that was created by editing. If you remember that.
Right.
Dog and a ducky. So yeah, it's just great.
You should go watch it.
You should go watch it. Go out and find it. Show notes will have links to some of the places where you can find it. Because right now because we had the screener, I haven't looked it up yet. But by the time this comes out, it'll all be in there.
Yes.
See it, rent it. Why? Because it's good.
Mm-hmm.
And because you need to support indie film. And because these guys did a great job and you need to support them.
Yeah.
And I want to see more stuff from Sylas. Right? It's becoming like a trend with some of these. I want to see more. I want to see the next feature. I'd like to see these kids get some more chances and jump into, a career. And I know we have all this pandemic stuff. So however that happens at some point, I think they were fun, and I think they will grow. And I would like to see them, and I would like to be able to sit and say, oh my God, I remember when she was like 12 years old, her first thing, it's like Danielle Harris. We love her in horror movies. She's evolved into that world. And it's like, she was just a little Danielle
in Halloween. Yeah.
And it's like, well, wasn't a whole lot to that, but there she was.
For a little bit. Yeah.
Well, this will be a bigger thing because they actually did stuff.
Yeah.
About that. But
so with that,
you should
go check out our website. It is
www.lordsofmisruleproductions.com.
There, you can find links to things.
Is that a little too oomphy for you?
No,
It
it
seems
was
to
fine.
throw you off.
Well, I wasn't sure if you were going to keep going or if it was back to me, but there you can find links to things. Our blog, you can find past episodes of this podcast. You can find links to other platforms that you can find this podcast on.
Yeah.
Our email addresses, if you want to send us an email, if you've done something or been a part of something and you want us to check it out, or even if you just want to say hi.
Yeah. Well, especially if you've done something, because look, we just did an episode right here, right now.
From someone who emailed us saying you should check this out.
Yeah. Because, you just can't know what's out there.
Right.
There's so much.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Do what they did.
Do it.
Social media links, the podcast links.
Also, a link to our Patreon page. If you like our podcast and you want to support us and help us make more episodes, check out our Patreon. Become a patron.
Yeah. Just get on it.
You get cool stuff. Go check it out.
Yeah. Everything's there. We don't need to go on about it. It's all explained really simply. Let's see.
I think that's about it.
Yeah. You check us out on social media, see who we're following, see who's following us. Check some of these people out. Some of them are podcasters. Some of them are filmmakers. Just do it.
And, give us a like and follow. That'd be cool too.
Yeah. And, it doesn't matter how big or small of a thing you're working on, because here's the deal. We might have you on the show. Next week, we're going to have Sylas and Mary Madeline on the show.
Yeah. Pretty exciting.
Unless, again, something goes wrong, which I'll apologize ahead of time, but we're all booked in and going to talk to the both of them about this and, a lot of cool stuff. And we could do the same with you.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have made a film. You could have worked on a film.
You could have acted in a film.
Yeah. You could be a concept artist.
Or a gaffer.
This is about how creatives can do their thing. And at some point, creatives, anyone can write a script. Anyone can, find people to read a script and film it. But it's all these other people that you have, too. They're creatives as well. Lighting is not technical. Lighting is creative.
Right.
There are certain laws involved with how light works, but how to make things work certain ways.
Yeah.
Got to be able to know how to
paint with light.
Take what the director wants. Yep. And paint that portrait with lighting and stuff.
Yeah.
So anybody, we'd love to hear from you.
Also, we forget to do this a lot, but whatever podcast platform you're listening on, if you could give us a rating and review, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Those are important to the platforms.
Always that old chestnut.
Yeah.
Please at least give a rating. Review would be awesome, but hey, rating, and we hope it's a good one, but no pressure. Let's see. That's, I think, what's going on coming into Thanksgiving, and I'm trying to think when this comes out. I didn't look. Anyway,
Schedule Master doesn't know the schedule.
Schedule Master has a lot of stuff on his mind right now, and higher mathematics isn't one of those. Getting into the winter months, I do just want to say I am somewhat comfortable right now because while we're recording this, I have the goddamn air conditioning on. I have the air conditioning on because it's so.
It's been 70 all week in Wisconsin in November.
Yes, and this is after turning the heat on, putting all the coats away, pulling out the winter coats, and then bam, we're hit with 70 degrees. And we were sitting here, and last night we played D&D, and about 2 hours before, I was just sitting in a stool at the counter, and it just hit me. Nope, no goddamn way I'm doing this. I am too hot. It's going to be awful tonight. Miserable. So I walked over, switched it from heat
to AC.
and poof. Yeah. Now, the upside of that is I'm not in here wishing I was dead because of the intense amount of heat that gathers in this room. Yeah. But it's going to go away, and it's going to be that way again. So anyway, I just wanted to vent that because I can.
That's okay.
All right.
So, well, I think that about wraps it up for us for tonight.
Does.
God, Every time I try to like do a closeout, I just like stumble over my words. I can't do it.
How about I do
I'm
it?
terrible. No, I want to try.
Okay, go for it.
Okay.
It's all yours.
No, you do it.
Seriously? Oh, God. Just going to reach for my coffee. All right. B-siders. Create, support, reach out, keep in contact, build your network, find people, support them, look for support from them. Crazy times. Keep saying it.
Check out this movie. They Reach.
Oh, yeah. Check out this movie. But, keep doing what you're doing and just keep doing it. It'll lead somewhere through this crazy crap. Still wear a mask, take a breath, feel good about things going on, and join us next week. I think we're going to have some cool conversation.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
Interview.
All right. So, for Bravo for the B-Side, this is Jim.
And this is Danny.
And we will talk to you next week, B-Siders.
Bye.